Well, we've created and run a pipeline. We've done it both using a wizard and by manually creating the JSON documents for our pipeline components. And one of the things you might want to do is just to monitor how those pipelines have performed when they've been running, especially if they're running on a scheduled basis. So let's take a look at how we can do some pipeline monitoring. So here I am in my Azure portal, and you can see I've got various things on the blade here. Now, at a very simple level, I can look at some metrics and operations for my Azure Data Factory. So if I open that up, I can see the events that have occurred. I can see if there are any alerts set up. And if I turn on diagnostics, I can see some Data Factory metrics here. So some very basic kind of information about what's been happening. But the really interesting stuff is to monitor the actual pipelines themselves. And there's a monitor and manage tile here. If I click that, I can open that up. And it opens up this different tab here. And I can see I've got a list down here, all the activity windows for various pipelines that are within the period of time that I'm looking at. And that period of time is specified up here. So there's a date and time to start and end. So I could actually go and change that and say I want to look at everything that's happened for however many months. I can go back to the 1st of July in 2016, and I can specify the actual time I want to specify there as well. And I could specify when I want to finish looking, so I could look at the end of this coming month if I've got jobs scheduled in the future, and go ahead and do that and apply that time window. And in this case, because I've only really so far created my copy wizard pipeline and my copy trans pipeline, I can still just see the activities that are there. But if there were multiple activities, if I had a daily copy, I would see a line for each daily copy listed down here. Now I can see some of the elements involved in my pipelines up here. I can see my transactions TXT and my DBO transactions data sets that I've been using, and I could select those and look at information specific to those. But the other thing I can do is I can go down in this list of activity windows at the bottom here, and I could go and have a look at, let's take a look at the copy wizard pipeline, which had an activity in there, which was automatically generated. If I hover that, I can see it's called activity-0 blob path ADF data. That's what was generated by the wizard. And over here, I can see the activity windows for that particular activity. And it ran at one time only on Monday, the 9th of January. So I can actually see there's a green square there that tells me it ran successfully. If this was scheduled to run periodically in the future, I would see some other, actually I would see orange squares here as it was ready to be run in the future, and I might see green squares where it had run successfully in the past. Now similarly, if I take a look at my copy trans pipeline, I get a similar view, but because I specifically, when I defined these transactions data sets, I specifically specified they had an availability of 15-minute intervals. I get those 15-minute intervals appearing here. So again, I can see every window for those activities. Again, because this is a one-time activity, I just get one square with a green color to show that it succeeded. But you can see that I can look back and monitor the success or failure of these various activities within my pipelines. And as we move through the rest of the course and we look at scheduling jobs to run periodically, that's going to become very important.